BMW always bills itself as the ultimate driving machine, but anyone paying attention for the last few years might tend to disagree. Still, that didn't stop the car builder from Bavaria from producing a limited run of small sports cars that set enthusiast hearts and minds ablaze. In 2011, BMW launched the 1 Series M Coupe, or 1M. Here in the States, just 740 examples made it to dealerships, and they were all snatched up quite quickly. It proved to be an amazing driver's car thanks to its responsive handling, delightfully short wheelbase, and 335 horsepower, twin-turbocharged, inline, 6-cylinder N54 engine. Is there a way to make the car better, though? Of course there is. You know there's always a way to make a car better, and the mad minds at Dinan know this too. Tuning the N54 engine is a smart way to earn your stripes with the BMW crowd. Steve Dinan and his team don't have to worry about that though, because if you know BMW, you already know all about the Dinan philosophy. What began life as a standard 1M has been transformed thanks to larger turbochargers, a free-flowing stainless exhaust, an air-to-air intercooler, a cold air intake, and high-capacity oil cooler. Now we're dealing with 444 horsepower and 450 pound-feet of torque. We're also dealing with an upgraded suspension system, forged wheels, Brembo brakes, and Michelin Pilot Sport Cup tires. We're dealing with a car that, for the money, might just be the best driver's car on the planet.
There's no denying that the BMW 1M is already an amazing machine as it comes from the factory. BMW wasn't messing around with that car, and it's clear that they drew upon some of the things that made the E30 such an amazing machine and a car that's still popular to this day. This is basically the modern equivalent of that amazing machine, and it's more amazing because it's got some new tech behind it. But here, in the Dinan 1M, things are cranked beyond 11. That's the cliche way to go, so I'll be non-cliche and go to 12. This is the Dinan 12M. Why would Dinan start with a car that's already out of production? Well, there's good reason for that. It's because the engine under the hood is found in more vehicles than just this 1M. It's the N54, and it's a beloved motor by many out there in the community of people who like to drive cars. It's a 3-liter inline 6, and this one has 2 turbos. Now, the Dinan version has 2 bigger turbos. They've also swapped in an air-to-air intercooler. They've got the carbon intake. They've got the stainless exhaust. On top of that, you've added in these big, beefy wheels that you've got at all 4 corners, wrapped in Pilot Sport rubber, which is very sticky rubber. You could go stickier, but it suits this car well because it has a dual nature of being able to hug the curves, but also get the tail out if you're daring. But you can do it without fear in this car. It's so controllable even with this short wheelbase. If you put the driving mode into M dynamic mode, it lets you get a little bit of slip angle and a little bit of play before it intervenes. And it intervenes really smoothly. You can have a lot of fun in that mode. If you're insane, you turn it all the way off and this thing will spin on a whim. If you like to drive sideways, this is the car for you. If you like to drive under control, this is also the car for you. If you just like driving, this might be one of the greatest cars on the planet. The power delivery of this car is borderline ferocious. It feels like it can easily compete with the Corvettes and the 911s of the world. And that's fantastic in a car like this because it's also still comfortable. It's also cozy when you're cruising down the highway. This isn't one of those aftermarket hatchet jobs where things aren't working, the suspension is bumpy, the brakes squeal all the time. This is a very well put together car. It feels like it's a factory iteration straight from BMW, and that's a high compliment. But to give more credit to Dinan and his team, this is an amazing beast that didn't come from BMW. You can extract raw driving fun. A perfect example is the Mazda Miata. That's a distilled driving experience, and it puts a smile on your face anytime you hop behind the wheel of one of those and just haul ass down a canyon road. The standard 1M could easily be there. The M3 is a driver's car. The 911 is a driver's car. But some of those are getting heavier and they're getting away from the pure excitement and thrill of a machine that's just fun to get into some switchbacks and just put your foot down. This might be one of the greatest driver's cars I've ever driven. The steering is incredibly direct. The suspension is perfectly dialed. The brakes can handle so much. Repeated stops from high speeds time and time again without fading. The gearbox is phenomenal. The noise it makes, the seats are comfortable. I'm heaping tons of praise on this car because it's earned them and it's deserved all of it. This is my favorite driver's car. This is a car that you could drive to a racetrack and be comfortable, drive it on a racetrack and win, then get back in it after stopping for a pee break and some water, drive home and be comfortable again. That's pretty amazing. No trailers needed here. Additionally, when you're on the highway on the way back, you could get as high as 30 miles a gallon because this car's crazy. I don't know how that's possible. I'm not getting that much fuel. My fuel economy is a little bit worse than that. I'm definitely averaging less than 300 a tank, probably closer to 250, probably closer to 220. Doesn't matter. It's fun. Expensive, but fun. Speaking of expensive, good luck finding one of these because the few that are on the market are trading between, I saw one recently that was, well, I still had unmet reserve at $46,000 and time to go. But the average transaction price, if these come up for sale, seems to be mid 60s to over 70. Add in the dining package that this car's wearing and you're adding about $19,000 worth of goodies. So it's an expensive toy, but relative in that price area, it's an amazing toy. It still makes sense. Compare, a loaded Corvette, a 911, a handful of other cars. This car could be more exciting than those cars. Yeah. Still though, it's not just about the 1M, even though I can't stop thinking about it, not just because I'm in it. When I go home, park this car, and walk away, it'll still be in my head. It's about the engine. That's what Dinan is really doing here, is building upon that engine so that all you other guys out there who want stuff to put in your N54 powered cars, here you go. 444 horsepower, 450 pound-feet of torque, all day long. The best way to describe the Dinan 1M, or if you call it by its full name, the Dinan S3-R BMW 1M, which is too much. I like Dinan 1M. The best way to describe this car is with a mix of cliche metaphors. What this is, I just feel like Charlie Day from It's Always Sunny. What this is a laser-guided sledgehammer. It's a weapon that has pinpoint accuracy but can massively destroy a target. And by a target, I mean the road, and by destroy, I mean make sweet, 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 sweet love to. That was a whole lot of sweets.